It's time. It's time once again to take a journey. So turn on the lights, pull your chair up, get a little closer to the computer, and get ready, because the journey's about to begin. You turn your radio on, and there it is, a faint station, wafting in and out of the static of the night. A man named Eric, running a show called the Midnight Cafe, calls to you. The conversation seems strange at first, but as you listen, as his voice fades in and out of the static, you realize this is where you were meant to be. This is what you were meant to listen to. We will take a journey that takes us from the normal, well, all the way through to the paranormal and beyond. We'll talk about the knowns and the unknowns and everything in between. And together, perhaps we'll make a little sense out of this crazy world we all live in. Welcome my friends to another episode of the Midnight Cafe. I'm your host Eric. We've got a heck of a show tonight. I hope you'll stick around because it ought to be interesting. We're going to be getting into the topic of trail cam photographs, some of the most unusual stuff you're likely to see out there. And of course, there are some interesting ones I've thrown in for fun as well. I hope you'll stick with us. I've actually got a guest coming on tonight, and we'll get to him in just a little while. But first it's on to the news. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope hopefully well. Yeah, the news. Right on. Patrick, doing all right? BLR, good to see you. Jamaica Dog, nice having you in here tonight. Alex King, Scooters55, wow. It's like the whole club came to hang out. I'm glad to see it. It's going to be an interesting show. This is episode, 6, 7? I can't remember. I think it's 6 or 7, somewhere around there, of season 6. Or, sorry, season 3. Yeah, it's been interesting. Well, here's what's going on. So for tonight's show, yes, we got that, but I want to get first into some news. Some of this is actually news that I don't normally cover here, and this is interesting. It's just something that's come to my mind, something I want to get your opinions on, so I'll be looking at the chat boxes. For those of you who are tuning in tonight via Shoutcast or on one of the 6 stations that we broadcast on over the terrestrial radio, this is a show you probably want to turn to the computer for, because we're going to be showing a lot of pictures tonight. For those who are watching this podcast or radio version or listening over that version of it, I will upload the photographs from tonight's show onto the website in the coming weeks, so you'll have an opportunity to kind of look at those pictures and play along. So I hope you'll stick around for it regardless. But first, let's talk about something. Let's talk about the cost of used cars here in the United States. Incredible rising of prices, and there's a lot of theories to why this is happening. Some going and speculating that, hey, X-Ray Z, good, first time tuning in, he says. All right, glad to have you on board. And hey, 741, good to see you as well. Yeah, used car prices. And I personally, I'm going to go ahead with my thoughts on this first, and that is that the cost of new cars has accelerated in cost just so much. Most people are now getting 6 or 7 or even 8-year loans on new vehicles because the cost has just gotten so outrageous. I believe I read that the average cost of a new car is $37,000. And I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's a whole lot of money. So yeah, I got that going on. And what it's done, it took a couple of years for it to catch up. But it appears now that the cost of, used cars is climbing. It's climbing right up there with it. You go to look at a car, and I'm talking about cars that got problems, and people are asking $5,000, $6,000, or $7,000 for these cars. It's pretty well outrageous. Some are saying that it's devaluation of the dollar, although I don't find that connection to be reasonable. Obviously the dollar is worth less than it was 20 years ago, but we're talking about changes that have occurred just in the last year or two, really. I sold what was left of the Toyota Echo. It still ran, just needed a transmission. I sold that for, $500 or $600. I went looking for something similar a few months back, and, even non-running cars, people are asking $2,000 for. So I'm kind of curious, you, the listener, I don't know if any of you have been looking for used vehicles or have just been keeping track of trends, but holy cow, what are your thoughts? What are you seeing in your part of the country? And while y'all put your listings in there, I do want to thank one new channel. We have 106.1 in Springfield, Oregon. Springfield, Oregon, welcome on board. It's a community radio station. They asked not to use their call letters, but Community Radio 1061 is joining us. I do not believe they're broadcasting live. They're on the replay, which is on the Shoutcast master feed. So they're replaying that. But welcome on board. You are the 6th, I think, or maybe 7th radio station to join the Midnight Cafe's network, and we appreciate that, man. So it's great to hear from you. So I'm not seeing many comments here. Apparently not many people looking for cars, so I'll go ahead and move on then. I just wanted to talk to you about that. It is a thing, so don't be surprised when Sticker Shock slaps you right upside the face here. There we go. 741 saying used car prices are way up. Don't understand. Yeah, I think honestly it's just that new car prices have gone so insanely high that people, they're trying to squeeze that extra dollar out of their used cars. I don't blame it. I mean, I think it's overvalued, especially for some of the vehicles. Now, look, if you're going to sell a decent used car with in decent shape, then sure, you can catch a premium. But what I'm seeing here on my end, and of course, the reason that I'm aware of this is one of my jobs is that I buy and fix up and resell cars. And what I'm seeing is cars that would be worth barely scrap value, $250, $300 are still, now people are asking $2,000, something that has a blown engine or a bad transmission or needs major work. And I don't mind spending, $800 to $1,200 for a vehicle that's cosmetically ugly and needs minor mechanical repairs. But to purchase a $1,200 or $1,500 vehicle that doesn't even run is, that's a pipe dream, really. Calcius, good to see you in here tonight, my friend. In 2008 in Florida, I paid $10,000 for a Dodge Ram with 68K. Yeah, I mean, that's just nuts, isn't it? I mean, it's just $10,000 for a car with 68,000 miles on it. That should be a $5,000 car, in my opinion, but it is what it is, right? These new cars are going up so much, we just got to do what we got to do, I guess, right? Dallas, good to see you in here, brother. I do a lot of browsing online and dreaming, but yeah, they're all high, no doubt. I know the price of a new diesel truck has skyrocketed. The price of a mediocre used, yeah, it is. It's so it's diesels, especially diesel trucks. It is insane. It is insane, the cost. I mean, a brand new diesel Dodge or Ford or Chevrolet are going to run you $60,000 to $70,000, and that's absurd. I won't lie to you. My first house didn't cost a whole lot more than $60,000, and it just is no way that I'm going to be putting that kind of money into a vehicle. But of course, now the cost of a used diesel, and I know I saw one for sale here locally. I don't usually get into diesel trucks as far as flipping because people just abuse them mostly. But yeah, it was like $33,000 for one that had over 200,000 miles on it. And I'm thinking, man, he's probably still paying on it. Doesn't have much of a choice, I guess, but it is what it is. Quadrojet King, good to see you in here. Good evening to you as well. Patrick, also, yeah, he's pointing out a pretty good point. You buy a vehicle down in Florida, you always have to worry about flood damage, and that goes for like the Panhandle, coastlines, and Louisiana. There's a lot of coastal states. It's like, I don't know, man. Of course, you can get a bum deal anywhere in the country because a lot of times those vehicles gets moved around. There's companies that do nothing but push cars, around the country as far as auction houses go. So you may end up with something in whatever state you live in that actually isn't from the state you're living in. And that can be a good or a bad thing. Where I'm at, this is the Rust Belt. I wouldn't want to buy a vehicle that had been up here its whole life. No way. It would be trash. So 741 saying 10-year-old SUV selling for $25,000 with over 100,000 miles on it. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And I don't know what that's going to mean because I was hearing the other day that again in this news article they were talking about how people were literally getting 6 and 7 year loans on used vehicles. If you're looking at a 8-year-old vehicle with well over 100,000 miles on it and you're having to take a 6-year note on that, you're in trouble, man, because that vehicle is probably not going to make it 6 years without needing significant work. I mean, there's easy to get a vehicle to last 200,000 miles, but it's not easy to do it, with the original everything. Cars over 100,000 miles, no matter how reliable they are going to need repairs. And if you're busy paying payments on it, that becomes harder and harder for people to do. So I do believe we're going to see some kind of a breakdown there. But who knows what that's going to look like. X-Rays, he says, and some of the newer ones are really expensive to repair. No doubt. I mean, and the Consumer Reports right now is lobbying Congress to make lane departure and lane correction and auto stop features mandatory on all vehicles. That's going to add, $8 or $9 grand to the cost of even the cheapest car. So, yeah, I don't see that turning around anytime soon. I've advocated for this before. This was years ago on the show. I had someone in the auto industry on talking about it, but we were discussing that wouldn't it be nice if you could get a waiver from the federal government and you could build cars that were simplistic. Okay, yes, they have modern emissions controls, but maybe they don't have the latest and greatest as far as safety or whatnot, and that you paid a higher insurance premium in order to have a vehicle like that. There's no difference between me driving my 40-year-old 1980 Volkswagen pickup truck to work every day, and then you still build a modern car with much better crash safety stuff, but maybe it doesn't have 18 airbags in it. Maybe it doesn't have ABS. Maybe it doesn't have a reverse camera. Maybe it doesn't have tire pressure sensors and so on and so forth, so that we could keep those costs down. And in return, you pay, double the normal premium for that vehicle for the first 10 years you own it or something like that. Anyway, that's not going anywhere because the lobbyists are always lobbying for more money, not less. So there you go. Let's see. Patrick saying, yeah, all the used cars in Texas have high miles. Yeah, people are hanging on to them longer because they got a 10-year note. I mean, if you're buying a car and you have to take a 7-year loan on it or 8-year loan, you can't get out of it. You've got to drive it. You got to drive it till it's pretty well wore out, and then you're still going to ask for a premium, right? Quadrajet King saying paid $850 for his '84 F250 diesel. Needed some work, but it's a solid truck now. Yeah, dude. Like if you pay $850 for a vehicle, even if you put a motor in it, you're ahead of the game as long as it's a sound vehicle to start with. Scooters55 saying it seems in Minnesota you can find a vehicle with 300,000 miles that looks good for 25 grand and is 20 years old. Find one with low miles and it's and it's 30,000. Yeah, it's a bad spiral we're headed into there. I definitely believe it, man. Hey, Dallas, everything has tripled and wages aren't coming up fast enough to keep up with it. Headed for another crash like 2007, 2008. Everyone is in debt up to their eyeballs. That I agree with. That's a conversation for another night as far as news goes. But yeah, I mean we've been dancing around that cliff for so long. It's a miracle we haven't jumped off of it yet. But I agree with that, and it's a cyclical thing. I'm not doom and glooming it here, but this happens. It's happened 3 times just in my career, having the peaks and lulls where business comes and goes. So it's crazy, man. Super B, hey, good to see you in tonight. All the cars I have for sale have less than 100K. Right on. So you're aiming for that, and that's smart. That aims for a certain crowd, and it's easier to get a loan on a used car if it has less than 100,000 on it. So 741 says I won't take a loan to buy a car. Cash only for me, but it is hard to do so when cars cost so much. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, man. All right, so I'm going to move on from that, and I do want to talk about one more thing here, and that is, SpaceX. It's like every week it's got to be SpaceX at least once, right? Anyway, SpaceX announcing this week they are going to be headed to Mars with the SpaceX Heavy, the BFR, a big freaking rocket that they are working on. They say 4 years. Now, unlike NASA, I tend to believe that in 4 years they may actually pull that off. Now, that first flight to land on Mars is going to be just a supply ship, no humans on board there, but it's a great start and it's something I look forward to. Man, Elon is just pushing it, and I hope he meets his deadlines because we all have a finite amount of time here on planet Earth, and I want to make sure that I get to see that. And I don't know that I will, but I hope that I do. I hope I get to see mankind walking on the moon and walking on Mars. And maybe by the time that I'm in a rocking chair ready to head on to whatever's beyond this great Earth, they'll be talking about going someplace outside of this solar system. Wouldn't that be great to think? Whew. All right, one last thing. Hope everyone's enjoying it. How many people are in here tonight? Let's see here. Let me take a quick look at the stats here while I'm playing here. No, not many folks. Oh boy, 25. Not bad, not bad. Okay, for a second there it showed 7. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. So anyway, the last thing, and this is a big deal. I'm going to be announcing this next week, next Saturday, or next Sunday on the Farpoint Farms channel. But this is kind of a big deal. Here it comes. We've talked about this. I was on 741's channel. I had a nice conversation with him on his channel, and I've talked about it with y'all a couple times. Obviously, I am a big advocate for community radio or independent radio stations or pirate radio stations, whatever y'all want to call them. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is with the help of Redicus, who reached out to me like the day after I bought that shortwave that I put the video up this morning, they reached out to me about the video I did back in April on the TR502, that FM transmitter that I sent down off the mountain with my buddy down there. They reached out to me and wanted me to review a product for them, and I said, man, I just bought that shortwave. And they said, well, why don't we send you an FM transmitter? And I said, well, I do AM transmitting. That's just what I do. They said, well, what are you thinking? And I thought, well, how about this? How about you send me an FM transmitter? I do a video on it, and I give it to somebody who's interested in starting their own radio station. I thought they would say no, but they said yes. So that is on its way right now, and I'm going to make a video of it sometime this week, and I'm going to post it this weekend, and we're going to have a raffle. We're going to have a giveaway. Not a raffle, a giveaway. So just like in the last 2 years where I've done radio giveaways over on the Farpoint Farms channel, I'll make a wonderful video. You just put your name in the comments, and you'll be entered to win it. And it's a FCC approved now. This is not a 15 watt like the one that my buddy's using. This is an FCC approved, about a half-mile range. Put a fancier antenna on the roof, probably about a mile, maybe two, just like AM. It's great stuff. So if you're interested in starting your own radio station, keep your eye out next Sunday, and I will put up that video. I'll do a review of it. I'll do an unboxing. I'll check it over, and then November 14th, right here on the Midnight Cafe, we will get it on. We will give it away to somebody, and hopefully that somebody will make a video and show me it in operation, and maybe start their own show, start their own Midnight Cafe, start their own whatever, something like Art Bell would put up, right? Anyway, I hope you all are happy to hear that. 741, I know you said you were kind of interested, but you were like, I just don't know what I would say. And I think a lot of folks think that, but you know what? I think you're missing it. I think there's a lot of people who are really smart, got a lot on their mind, and they just need a place to let that out, man. Just let it out, share it with the world. And so I'm happy to be a part of that. I want to thank Reticus for shooting that my way. Hopefully it shows up early this week so I can get that filmed and then edited and all the rest. But Kelsey is saying, I see the rocket launch all the way from the Gulf Coast of Florida sometimes. Would love to visit the Cape and watch one up close. Yeah, wow. I went down, we were in Florida, this is, 20 years ago on our honeymoon, and there was a space shuttle launch, but we had just driven like 12 and a half hours down there, got to the hotel, and it would have been, turn around from Orlando there and come back to see it take off, and I slept right through it, and I regret it to this day. It would have been an even more miserable day than it had been with that drive because we had some vehicle problems, but I do miss never get to see one fly, that's for sure. That's awesome. Good for you, brother. Patrick saying, I live by SpaceX in Texas. Everything rumbles when they test those engines. I would love to hear that noise, Patrick. You're a lucky guy for sure. I would love to hear that noise. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps up the news this week. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. Here's the thing. There's plenty to talk about in the news. I'm sure you're all well aware of this. The problem is it's all political, and I'm so sick and tired of it, I don't want to talk about any of it. It's just garbage. So rather than dwell on the misery that is all over the news, I figured let's just go right into tonight's topic. I'm going to play a song. I have a surprise. We have a special guest. Kevin C. is joining me. Kevin has given me some pictures, sent me some pictures. I've got them loaded up. But tonight's main topic, trail cam terror. Yeah, who would have thought about that, huh? So I'm going to go to a song here in a second, if I can find the song before. Yeah, I'm going to go to a song. We're going to listen to that song, and then I will be back with Kevin, and we will be looking at a whole slew of photos and just discussing what is it that lies in the woods. See you soon. hope everyone's having a great Saturday night here in October. For those of you listening to this in the future, again, check out the website. Go on. I'll upload all the photographs if you're listening to it over the air. That is themidnightcafe.weebly.com, and you'll hopefully enjoy that. And I have with me tonight Kevin. Kevin, go ahead and say hello to the universe, my friend.
Hello, everybody. How you doing out there tonight?
Hey, right on. Is everyone able to hear Kevin okay? I've been messing with the audio here on the channel, and hopefully, I know a couple times we've had calls that people have had a hard time hearing. Y'all hear him okay? We'll give it a second for that answer to come through here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and, oh, good. Barney's saying, yeah. Kelsey is saying, good. Ah, that's awesome. Finally, successful night with electronics. You know, last week and the week before, having all kinds of crazy technical issues with bandwidth. Tonight, let me tell you what's going on here inside the Midnight Cafe before we go on to the rest of this. Well, let me go ahead and pull my picture back up here. Boop. There we go. Let's say. Wandering Jedi says loud and clear. Dallas says, if you saw me with just a mustache, you'd know why. I either clean shave or wear a beard or a goatee. It's horrible and horrendous. Ah, brother. Everybody has been making fun of me. It has been 11 years since I saw my face this much. I always have my goatee. And I don't know, man. I got a wild hair and just decided to shave it off. But right on. Hey, so normally, you know, we got bandwidth issues here. Kevin, I tonight am proud to say that with everything is up and running, I have a computer outside dedicated that runs the radio station. And it also streams to Shoutcast. And now, for those of you who aren't aware of it, it also streams to WFPF Radio here on YouTube. So yes, there's a third YouTube channel related to me, although it'll never have live. It always just broadcasts the Shoutcast stream. Some of the folks were having trouble with the Shoutcast stream, some of the radio stations that carry the show. And so they asked for more appropriate or like a better quality upload. And YouTube, would you believe it? So it's been on for about 5 days straight now and seems to be working well. And somehow or another, I still have the ability to do this show. So bandwidth is awesome. Kevin, go ahead and let everybody know who you are, my friend.
Oh, my name's Kevin. I'm hiding somewhere up here in Michigan. I'm not sure if anyone out there is on the chat is from Michigan, but hey, you know, it's got quite a bit of paranormal history, depending on where you're at. I've been in the Grand Rapids area for a couple of years now. Moved over here, got married, been here since. Don't plan on leaving anytime soon because it's actually pretty nice over here compared to the 26 years I was on the other side of the state. Although I do miss those areas. But yeah, that's a little bit about me, and glad I could be on here tonight. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate you asking to come on the show. I'd love to have guests on. You had shot me some photographs, and I thought, wow, well, let's just do this. We'll have a great night together. So tell me, any kind, like you're talking about the paranormal in Michigan, do you do any kind of ghost hunting, or have you had any interactions with clubs like that up there? Because it was really popular around the Raleigh area back 10, 15 years ago, and I did some work with a few groups, just wanted to tag along and had a great time with that. Is that anything you've ever played with?
I've only ever done an actual paranormal investigation with a friend of mine who actually owns and operates a ghost, like a haunted history tour.
Very cool.
Up on Mackinac Island, Michigan. Basically all of Mackinac Island is haunted. So if anybody asks what part of the island is haunted, just tell them the whole island because it is very strong in Native American history. Plenty of battles during the War of 1812 up there. So anywhere you step, there's probably a ghost like standing next to you saying hi. So I did some investigating up there. A lot of good experiences. In fact, that's where some of the photos I sent you, that's where it's from, actually.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Right on. Well, we'll get to your photos here in a little while. I want to save them towards the end of the slideshow that we're going to go through. While you were talking, Mower Junkie joined in. Hello, Mower Junkie. I got Got a surprise for you in a future video. You and your wife get a shout out. You finally guilted my wife into being in one of the videos because of you and your wife in that last week's video, man. So thank you. And it figures Skip's running right now, Mower Junkie, because I was outside working in the garage all day and I heard nothing but the sweet sound of static. So of course the second I call it a day and come in here to do this, everything goes crazy. I understand your situation. Go on, Mower Junkie. You can always watch the rerun, my friend. Jason Kane saying hello, my friend. Semper Fi 73s. Warm greetings to the cafe crew. Yeah, we got Kevin C with us here tonight. He is the guest speaker for this evening, and I'm glad to have him on here. Do feel those high desert bell vibes. Right on, man. Gotta love the cop stash, man. I definitely went all out with that one. So hey, I got a question for you, Kevin. How's the weather in Michigan? Because we are now experiencing our first super cold week of the year.
Oh, it's we just hit only a high of I think 40 today.
Ooh.
It's been cold, windy. I actually rode my bike home from work today. That was not pleasant.
Oh man.
And yeah, it's because we're on the west side of the state. We get all of that Lake Michigan breeze all the time, and this time of year, let's just say if you don't like the cold, this is not the place for you.
I hear it. Yeah, my dad was born in Michigan, just outside of Detroit, but of course that was in the 40s, and he often told me how every time we had a cold winter growing up, no matter where we were living, he was like, "That doesn't compare. He just always tell me, "No, you haven't seen nothing yet." So yeah. That's great. Let's see here, 556 chiming in. Hello, my friend. Good to see you in here. Jolt's in here. Thank you, man. More Junkie, yep, you'll catch it. I don't know when I'll upload it, but yep, I got to edit it all together. But I appreciate you. I've been asking her for ages, man, so thank you. See, I guilted her. It worked. Tell your wife thanks. Granddaddy Dirtbox, good to have you in here, my man. First time catching us live. Appreciate it. Dustin Adams, Illinois, having a bunch of field fires. Red flag. Oh, no kidding, huh? Ooh, that's not good. All right, well, look, guys and gals and everybody in between, we are going to go to it. I have got a variety of trail cam pictures, right? And these are things that I've found across the internet. I'm not vouching for the validity of any of these. They could all be fakes. They could all be, Tracy says we get to see the boss of Farpoint Farms, finally. Yes. So we're going to look at these photographs, and I have no personal attachment to any. Kevin has 4 of them that he sent me, and I can't wait to hear the backstories behind them. But there's a variety. I've got some that are ghosts, some that are cryptids, some that are just downright funny. I mean, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start with Bigfoot-esque type creatures. It's on its way. The first picture is coming up here. And this is like, I need the viewers to chime in on this. I might even open it up here and take calls, but I believe that is asking for disaster, because if I remember, every time a call came in, it put the guest host on pause. So that didn't used to be the case, but it seems like the last couple times we tried it. So I might just go with the chat box. Jason Kane says he has a chin. These guys. Everyone's a critic, man. Everyone's a critic.
Yep.
So anyway, here we go. Hopefully it showed up on your side of the universe. Here on the Midnight Cafe, it is, I don't know, what is it? To me, it does appear to be a kind of a Bigfootish looking thing. What do you think, Kevin?
It does definitely look like some sort of Bigfoot type creature. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
the top half.
Yeah, the videos, a lot of these clips, you're never getting the one where they just stand right in front of you and wave. But having owned trail cams myself, I have several on the property, some for security and some for checking out animals and stuff. A lot of times, you might catch the tail end of something as it scurries off screen, because these cameras take a few seconds to get their business together and get that shot. And so this one here, I mean, out of all the Bigfoot-esque looking ones that I saw, this one here seems the most genuine. We have matted fur, we have some spots that are missing, like a mange type of situation. I really think, and it's a good daylight picture, night vision, night shot type stuff is sometimes a little harder to make a definitive call on, but I really feel like this one's pretty cool. And let's see what y'all have to say about this. Mower Junkie, oh yeah, talking about might hear it. Yep. X-Ray Z saying, wow, Joel Cola, if that is Bigfoot, What then? Do we take up arms and hunt it down? Why can't we just respect the fact that they want to be left alone? Yeah, definitely, Joel. Yeah, in no way are any of these things a call to arms or, we need to kill one so we can prove it exists. That's not my gig at all. I had an experience where I saw an animal, and if I were going to be honest with you, the shape wasn't all that dissimilar from what I'm looking at right here. This animal that I saw was grayish, though, but the hair was about as shaggy, and the size was maybe a little smaller than that, judging by that tree in the background. But the perspective is a little hard to guess on this. Kevin, what do you think? You think this is a elaborate fake, or you think this is real?
Well, at first glance, if you didn't know what you were looking at, you'd almost think it was some sort of brown bear standing up hind legs sniffing at something in a tree. But the longer you look at it, you could definitely make out almost like legs down at the bottom, but it's all kind of bunched together, so it's really hard to determine what what it could be without seeing more shape to it.
Yeah, I think you're right about the brown bear or black bear. Like, yeah, you could make the case that it's just a bear on its hind legs. Maybe it's reaching up to grab something, but it doesn't really look like that. Like the leg structure, and you can see one of his hands sticking down. It does not look like a paw. It looks like a hand. I mean, it's a pretty impressive picture. I definitely wanted to start the night off with that. And you can see, who knows? Obviously, forgeries are always possible, but I like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas Rife saying he's pretty sure that's his ex-mother-in-law. Well, wherever this is, I don't know. Don't go there. Looks like West Coast foliage to me, so stay out of the West. Alex chiming in that Skip is insane. Great. All my listeners are going to disappear off into their radio rooms, right? Jordan B saying Bigfoot is the champion of social distancing. No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. Now think about it. Like, if you were a semi-intelligent or fully intelligent creature, would you want to be around us? Like, dude, we're half of us are trying to kill you. The other half want to get selfies with you. I just think it's probably a good idea to be this mysterious thing hiding out in the woods. And I have no doubt there's lots of animals out there we have not positively identified. And Bigfoot may very well be one of them.
World champion a hide-and-seek player.
That's right. Joel Cole is saying the picture's also kind of blurry. Yeah, and you'll see that in a lot of these. If you know anything about trail cameras, and obviously maybe recently they're starting to be at a higher quality, but this picture was taken in 2012. These things have low megapixels, fixed lenses, and some have night shot flashes, but most do not have regular flashes. So a lot of these photos are going to be kind of iffy. And that does make it harder to prove or disprove what we're looking at here. But hey, Bri Ben, good to see you in here, man, all the way from Nevada. Legs look kind of longer than a bear is what X-Ray Z is saying, and I agree with that. The structure of those legs just look not bear-like, more human-like, but not quite human-like either. So very cool, very cool. All right, well, I'm going to get that one off the screen. Move on to the next one. This one here, if I were going to, and it might take a few seconds for it to come through on your side, but if I were going to guess, this almost appears to me to be like a ghillie suit, like a sniper might wear, or somebody really trying to sneak up on something. Kevin, can you see that? What do you think of that thing?
Yeah, I can see that. It definitely looks like one of those suits, because it's hard to say. It's because of how baggy those suits make you look.
Yeah.
It could be fake, could be real, who knows?
Yeah, this one really threw me off, because at first I was like, oh, it's a suit. It's definitely a suit. But it does look like hair, and it doesn't look like those, the tassels, like the branch tassels that usually hang off of that. But again, because it's night shot, it's hard to say if that's just not artifacting or blurring from what was going on. But what do y'all think of that one there out there in the peanut gallery tonight? That looks like a fat person in a gorilla suit, says Joel Cola. I mean, possibly. But, the other thing that's, a lot of these photographs are night shot photos, and there's something else I want to bring up here that just interests me in the course of doing research for tonight's show. It's very strange to me that, if somebody, well, look, I guess if the person that puts the camera out wants to fake a photograph, well, then it's obviously okay for them to stay out past dark and put on and do this whole elaborate thing. But a lot of these photographs are taken, late at night, judging by the timestamp, and it's like if someone came around and was messing with your trail camera, it just seems like an awful lot of work for a joke, Bryben's saying it looks like synthetic fiber that with that shine, and that very well could be. Dustin Adams said, not related to the subject, but my Craftsman mower can the seat safety be bypassed? Yeah, man, I got a video on that. Yeah, you can do that. All right, well, that's an interesting one there. Let me go ahead and get rid of that one. We'll move on to the next one here. This is another Bigfoot-ish type photo. What about this? And now this is super blurry. Looks like it was taken right at dusk. And I don't know. I mean, that is definitely not a human-shaped face, but I wonder what it is we're looking at. And by the way, the backstory on this was taken in America, so we're not looking at, an African baboon or a monkey or something like that. This is an American photograph. I think it was if I remember, and I'm sorry I didn't write all this stuff down before the show, but I think this was taken in the Northeast. So, Calcius says it looked like a short person in a ghillie suit. That other one. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of like of the Bigfoot photos. That last one there definitely did look to me like the one that was most likely to be a human or just a full-fledged fake. But what about this one, Calcius? What about this one, Dustin? What do you think? What do you think, Kevin? What's your thoughts on this photograph?
Well, it's hard to say, because of like you said, how blurry it is. It's definitely not human, that's for sure.
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
It looks like it's running. It might be running on all four. It is blurry, so it's not a great photograph at all. Bryben's saying it looks like a primate, and so that was my first guess as well, that we're looking at some kind of an ape, but we don't really have those native to America. So are we looking at one that got loose and has managed to endure out in the forest? That seems unlikely, but possible. Calcius says this one just looks like a weird animal. Joel's saying he doesn't see a tail on it. Yeah, you're right. There is no tail that I can see anyway. Dallas saying maybe a bear. Maybe, but it sure doesn't have the right proportioning if it was a bear. Look at those back legs again. They're a little longer than a normal bear's might be. The head is definitely shaped much differently, unless it's just artifacting or a blur, but kind of interesting. Joel says it does not appear. What's that, Kevin?
There's not enough fur and body mass to be a bear.
Yeah, he looks. If it were, it would be one that was mangy or something. That was not well. So, hey, Wandering Jedi's in here tonight. Good to see you in here, Wandering Jedi. He's saying maybe a baby Bigfoot or someone's escaped pet monkey. Possible. All these are possibilities. Imagine, if you had had a pet monkey. I actually know someone that does. They have a spider monkey, but they have a pet monkey and the thing grows up and becomes, angry or agitated, and you just let it go. It seems unlikely they would survive because, they're mostly tropical animals, but it's not impossible or beyond the realm of possibility. So, very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Alex King saying there. Let's see. Bryben's saying people do let pets go all the time, or they just get away. Yeah, and that's it. It could also be an escapee. I mean, think about it. I've got cats here at the house, and we don't let them out because there's so many predators on the property. And but boy, that doesn't stop them from trying. And every once in a while, one of them pushes through. So definitely possible. X-Ray Z saying definitely an odd-shaped head. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that head is what makes me think even if it was a mangy bear, it still wouldn't look like that. So, all right, we'll move on to another one here. Our last Bigfoot. What do you think of this? What is this, and why is this even here? What do you think, Kevin?
Let's see.
It looks like picture says it's 6:30 at night, so just after dark, probably.
Well, that one looks like somebody purposely stopped in front of the camera, arms stretched out like, uh-oh, I've been spotted. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Tell you what I'm going to do with that one. Hold on a second. I'm going to.
That is so.
I'll adjust that picture to make it larger.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that does look like a ghillie suit.
Yep.
And so somebody's messing with it. Now, what are we looking at here? Again, like Jason Kane says, that's a failed Marine in a 1960s suit. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I think out of these, this one here definitely looks like a person. But isn't it interesting that this brings up even more stuff? So is this a guy playing a prank, or is this someone who was poaching? And and got caught on a trail cam and was like, oh man, flash, and probably getting ready to head off into the woods, trying to make sure that he doesn't get caught for it. So very interesting picture. Just something I just wanted to share. A lot of cool comments here. Definitely human, Jordan B is saying. And good to see you in here, Jordan B. What's for dinner tonight, man? Dallas saying definitely a man in a suit or a fake. Yeah. Kelsey saying could even be a fugitive from law hiding out there. Definitely. Although, where'd he get the suit? I guess he could have stole it, right? Anything's possible.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we go from those, and those were kind of fun, I think. But the next series is a little bit more disturbing. And before I go into it, let me just talk to you about this. And that is this phenomenon of finding children in the woods caught on trail cam. Are you familiar with this, Kevin?
I've seen some YouTube videos that talk about trail cams showing that.
Yeah. There was one or two that I was specifically looking for tonight's show that I wasn't able to get a good copy of. But I did still find 5 of them. And while some of them, are probably just a person wandering in the woods, even that brings up some pretty sad and scary thoughts. But, yeah. Jason Kane saying he hadn't heard of this phenomenon. Yeah, this one's gonna give you the chills. It bothers me because I think our instinctive nature is to protect children and keep them safe and all the rest. But
yeah,
it just it happens. So here we go with the first one, and this one just blows me away. Just blows me away. Kevin, have you ever seen this photo before?
Let's see. Yes, I've actually seen this one.
Yeah, this one's fairly famous on YouTube and just on the web, and it was one that I was looking for. This one I was able to find a good copy of.
This one makes me wonder if that is a real child or is it a ghost, because those deer are just chilling out there like there's nothing wrong instead of freaking out.
I agree with that, and so there's 2 phenomenon that I see here. You could have this as a ghost where the deer has seen that there is a ghost, which is in its own way very scary. There's another thing that I've noticed with wildlife, and that is there are sometimes that especially with deer. In fact, I've walked over and pet a deer once, which was, my friend from the Army couldn't believe it. And sometimes these animals are able to sense that we are not a threat or that they don't need to be afraid. In fact, that deer may have actually sensed the fear on the girl. So who knows? They may have just been, kind of ambivalent to her. But so we might be looking at a ghost. We might be looking at a small girl. But either way, we are out in the middle of the woods. And there was no date stamp on this picture. But, after dark, alone, in the woods, in a nightgown. Looks like she's holding a blankie, maybe. But,
yeah.
Man, so spooky. Jason Kane saying, oh, what the heck, right? Jordan B saying it's spooky. Jason Kane saying the doe is looking right at her. Yeah, it's checking her out. X-Ray saying that is creepy, that's scary. Calcius, everyone's chiming in. This is definitely one that, kind of gets the hair up on the back there, Joel Cole says, or maybe the deer that have been raised with the child or a pet deer. It's possible. I find it probably a little unlikely because of, you can domesticate a deer somewhat, but they still, I don't know, man. It just seems odd. Kelsey's saying I've had a deer come right up to me when I was using the restroom on a tree at a state forest once. Yeah, sometimes they do. So my personal story with petting a deer was driving down the highway with a buddy of mine. Both of us had a few drinks in us, but it was the 80s, so that was okay. And there was a deer on the side of the road, and I said, stop. And I stopped, and I said, I'm going to go over there and pet that deer. And he was like, what are you talking about? That deer's going to run back into the cornfields as soon as you get out of the car. And I was like, I got out of the car. I walked right over to it. Nothing wrong with the deer. As happy as could be. Started petting it. My girlfriend got out of the car, came over, started petting it. He got out of the car, came over, started petting it. Finally just kind of got bored with it and walked away. So, sometimes when they know these are just harmless fools, they'll let you do what you want, I guess,
Yep.
Jolt's wanting to know what the history behind this photo, and I wish I had the original story, but I don't, unfortunately. There's a lot of YouTube channels that have shown it over the years, a couple of ghost sites that have shown it over the years, but I don't have the original backstory. But the guy, other than the guy claiming that it's not his kid, and it was a trail camera, so Spooky, spooky stuff, right? Barney, how you doing? Barney, I don't think I've had you in here before. Barney MM2, sleepwalking. Yeah, and that's a thought that I had, but that brings up some pretty scary thoughts in itself, because if this is a little girl that's wandering out of her house and is sleepwalking through the woods, I sure hope she was able to find her way back in time. I mean, that's kind of spooky in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joel's saying it does not creep you out. Nothing scary about it. Huh, interesting. Okay. Joel said, I was raised in the country and used to play with friends out in the woods until the wee hours of the morning due to summer vacation, so I have a different perspective. Yeah, totally. But you think about this, dude. Like Joel, and I feel the same way, but like think about how much times have changed. Like, and I don't know, Kevin, how old you are, but like when I was growing up, yeah, my mom had a triangular bell she'd hang like a dinner bell, and we'd go out and play in the woods until it was time for us to come in, and no cell phones back then and all the rest. She'd ring the bell, and you'd better get your what home or else. So that was the deal. Go out on a bicycle and hang out until all hours of the morning at friends' houses and stuff. But it's different these days, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so different.
Yeah. Parents get upset when their kids are, don't answer a text within 30 seconds, So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Technology.
Technology is, it's our friend, but it's also it's a slave to us. All right, so that was that one. Let's see the next one here. I'm going to turn this one on. This one I showed a little bit last week, and I wanted to show it again because I found a much higher quality picture of it. And this is, let me see if I can move it up. No, it doesn't want to move up. This is the girl, another girl in the woods, not a different girl. I wish I could move it so I could show you the, let me see here. Try to move that again. No, it doesn't want to move for some reason. I guess because I'm live, it won't let me adjust that picture. That is another girl in the woods. We looked at it last week. Some of y'all thought it was a tree stump. I don't know, man. This is a better quality picture. Kevin, what do you think of that one?
Definitely some sort of, to me it looks like an actual figure of some kind. But as for, what it is, it's hard to say.
I think for me, it definitely looks like a person, probably a girl, in a gown, in a nightgown. You just kind of make out little pieces of her face, and she just has that. The dress seems to flow to the ground, and I mean something tripped this photograph. And again, in this one, I was able to find some backstory, and it was a hunter who had a follow-up picture. I'll show you here in a few seconds of this, where they got down and kneeled. They kneeled on the ground, and so even creepier, even weirder, even spookier. So what do y'all think of that one here? Jolt's saying doesn't creep him out. Oh, that was the last picture. Sorry. Jolt saying he would like to know the history of it. Could answer some questions. How about the rest of you? I haven't got a lot of participation from the crowd here. Let me see how many folks are in here tonight. Down to 28 on my end is what it's showing here, so that's good. So let's hear from you guys and gals. What do you think that one is? We talked about it a little bit last week. I don't want to get more into that. That's a pretty strange picture. It does look like there's a trail that leads through there. It's interesting. Kelsey is saying it look like a girl in a gown to him. Yeah, I agree with that. Barney saying you can see her shoes. Yeah, I kind of can sticking out, can't you? And X-Ray Z saying definitely look like a dress. Yeah, pretty wild stuff, isn't it? I mean, again, like this one here, it's cropped off, but this was 00, so it was right after midnight. These pictures were taken, so whatever it was pretty darn late at night. This stuff will definitely give you the heebie-jeebies.
Oh yeah.
Jolt saying he can't tell if it's a human. Yeah, I mean it's hard to say, but it certainly looks like it. Like we try to identify stuff and kind of categorize it as something. And if I were going to guess at what this something was, it looks like a girl in a dress or in a nightgown. Jordan B says, looks too short to be a human. Guessing it's a tree stump. And Jordan B, that's what somebody said last week. They said it was a tree stump, but the story on this one was the hunter said no. And you'll see the follow-up picture, which is a little closer. Tree stumps don't kneel. They don't bend over. So, interesting.
Last I checked, they didn't.
Yeah, right. Unless we got some haunted trees or something, right? So, Jordan B saying, look at the ratio size between the leaves and the figure. Those leaves are closer in. That person is farther back on the bushes. If you look at like the brush that's actually around it, I think it's human size. In fact, I'm not even sure it's small girl size. I think it's just female size. So, all right, we'll go ahead. Not getting a lot of comments on these. I'm kind of surprised. Let's see here. All right, check out this one. Kevin, you ever seen this one?
Let's see. Wait for it to pop up here.
There we go.
Okay, this one I saw in one of the past YouTube videos I watched. This one gave me the heebie-jeebies because that little girl is pointing directly at the camera. I'm pretty sure from her perspective it's pitch dark because that is a night vision flash.
Yep.
And then the dog, whether it's her dog or just out there in the woods with her, who knows?
Yeah, this picture frightens me because I feel like this is a real girl and she is out in the woods alone at night, and I don't think that's a dog. I think that's a coyote. And I don't know if that coyote was tracking her. I don't know what's going on, but it bothers me because obviously she could be in danger in that photograph, and we don't know what happened next. But it's like the girl with the dog picture. It could be the girl's out wandering in the woods at night and got her pet dog with her, but that doesn't really look. I mean, it could be a medium-sized dog, but it definitely is skinnier and kind of a little more rail thin, like a coyote, at least the type we have around here. Very interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Dallas is saying next time somebody asks me if I'm scared of the dark, I'm going to say no. I'm scared of what's in the dark. Most definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
When I did the ghost hunting stuff years ago I did it with NAPS. They still have a website. They're still around. North American Paranormal Society, NAPS, and there was another one that was Triangle Paranormal Society, TAPS, I think it was, or TPI. I can't remember what it was called, but they were nice enough to let me and my wife join them on a few investigations because of the show. They came on and I interviewed them on the show, but they had us follow it along so I could get some research for what they were doing. In fact, I tried to get Eric from NAPS to come on, but he's still around doing stuff, but he just can't ever get the right time to get him on the show. Anyway, some of the stuff they talked about when we talked about that is, are you afraid of ghosts? And I said, no, I'm more afraid of real people. They're the dangerous ones. Ghosts might spook you and give you a little startle, but it's people that are really dangerous. So I think, Dallas, you hit it right on the head. People, wild animals, crazy people and crazy animals, right? X-Ray Z saying this photo is creepy, no doubt. Jolt saying it looks to me like the little girl is going to push the button to turn the camera off. Possible. I'm wondering this, Kevin. You were talking about how she's pointing right at the camera, but it would be a night shot. Some of those night shot cameras have that kind of red glow, and they also make a pretty pronounced click when they go off. I wonder if she had seen the glow and pointed to it right before it snapped that picture, and that might explain why she was pointing at that.
It's possible.
Yeah, definitely. Possibility, right? Yeah. Jason Kane saying she's an indigo child. Interesting. Or she's a changeling. Interesting as well. River Rider saying the animal looks scared of her. Possible. I mean, if it is a predatory animal, if it's not a pet, you would think it would have been on her. And it's not. In fact, it seems to me as interested as she is in whatever they're pointing at there. Could be the camera click and the light that startled both of them. Or it could be something else. Could be something on the other side of that we're not able to see. And I wasn't able to find hardly any information on this photograph either. Just a lot of references to it as a spooky picture on YouTube. But very cool.
Yep.
Jolt saying we know the canine behind her is not Cujo. Man, I need to watch that movie. I haven't seen that in years. It's Halloween month.
It's a weird movie.
Yeah, it is, dude. Like St. Bernard, you never look at him the same way again after that one.
Nope.
X-Ray Z saying he's had a coyote track him while he was deer hunting. Yeah, it's very rare for coyotes to attack humans, but it's not unheard of. It happens. In fact, about 3 years back, maybe 4 years back now, a young lady in, was it Canada, I believe, was killed by several of them. She was jogging and they were jogging behind her, and she had her earphones on, so she never heard what was coming. And they actually, as a team, took her down. And if you know coyotes, they work in packs sometimes when it's convenient for them, and they'll certainly go after deer and other animals. So it's not unheard of to be attacked by a coyote. It's rare, but there are ones out there that are bold enough if they're hungry enough. So.
Oh yeah.
Jason Kane saying the creepiest part of this picture is the girl's expressions. Just look at her eyebrows. She's angry. Man, I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right.
Yeah.
She is angry, isn't she?
She definitely looks angry.
Wow, that's weird, man. I had never really thought about that. Wow, even more creepy now. Yeah, Jason Kane sees she's just grimacing. Yeah, she is. She's angry. Brybeen saying the girl is a wolf enchantress. So you think she's a changeling? Very interesting.
It's possible. Anything's possible right now with the paranormal.
It's a weird world we're living in, no doubt about it. We only understand a fraction of what really is going on in this universe. So any of these things that we talk about tonight are certainly possible. And for those of you listening on the radio, I urge you, at some point to come on out and check out the website, check out the video if you have access to YouTube, and watch the rerun on it, because you're missing out on a pretty cool show. This one in particular has just been kind of fun. All right, next up, let's see here. This one is very creepy, and it's on its way over to your side, Kevin. Wandering Jedi says they have rabies running the local area, and any animal can be dangerous. No doubt. I've heard of people being attacked by foxes, which you wouldn't think would do you in, but give you rabies. That's a bad scene. I actually had to have rabies shots about 6 years ago up here, 5 years ago up here, and I'll share that story with you next Halloween. I've got a cool Halloween story I'm going to share with everybody this year on the other channel, so look forward to that. Jason Kane, whoa, legless dancing girl. Yeah, Kevin, you ever seen this one before?
This one I have not seen before.
This one is very interesting, and it, again, could be movement blur issue, not sure, but it is a semi see-through ghost, or it looks to be a semi see-through picture of a girl. And what's your take on that? You can see it actually has an ABCWTEN emblem over there in the corner. This was sent into a station. This was taken by a hunter, and it was deep in the woods, not on a trail, and it was taken late at night. What's your thoughts on that?
It almost looks like the child or this person here is in mid-run, because I've taken several pictures of one of my younger brothers running like toward me, and it has that similar look where the arms and legs blur out, and he's like in a full sprint.
Very interesting.
Or something. That's what this looks like.
Yeah, we had one person saying she looked like she was dancing. You're saying it looks like she's running. I kind of almost think you might be closer to the truth on that, Kevin. Because, yeah, she's got one arm up, one arm down. She's got a closed fist, it appears. One knee up, 1 foot off the ground. The other one has blurred out. Looks like it's, faded. But, man, if she's out in the woods by herself alone, she is booking. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
What's she running from?
Yeah, right. And man, this one bugged me a bit. Barney MM2 saying it looks like a daylight shot. The trees aren't white, and it's possible. I think actually this one is just old. It is a night shot photograph, but it's probably a very poorly lit one compared to modern cameras. What we're looking at here is probably something in the 0.5 megapixel range, where modern ones are 12 or to 15 megapixels. So it makes a lot of difference. And of course, it can create some of this type of artifacting we're seeing here, where what we're looking at may or may not be what it appears to be. And it's very interesting. She's wearing a sweatshirt. She's wearing modern clothing. That also was interesting. A lot of the pictures we've seen up until now have been, dresses. Anybody have any last thoughts on that one?
Her facial expression definitely almost looks like she's worried or scared of something.
I agree.
She's running.
Yeah, she doesn't look happy, whatever she's doing there.
I probably wouldn't be happy if I was running.
Right, yeah. Jason Kane saying Jolt and Kevin probably nailed it. Double exposure. The camera's just kind of trying to figure out what to do and can't do it well enough. Right? Brybeen saying, Eric, we would have had a lot of fun with trail cams back in the day. This girl was probably doing that. Yeah. And that's possible. This could just be, somebody messing around with the trail camera. For all we know, she ran around in circles in front of this thing for a half hour just to mess with it. And there are a few photographs that I'm going to share with y'all tonight that are people just straight up messing with it. There was one that I decided not to show, but some other ones were pretty cool, man. DC Volts, good to see you in here, man. Good evening. TMCers, the Midnight Cafe. Right on, brother. Good to have you in here. We've been going over trail cam pictures, and it's been interesting so far. We got a good ways to go. We're about, maybe little over a third of the way through them, man. But I've got Kevin C joining me from Michigan tonight. He's here as a guest, and he's also brought some pictures of his own he wants to share. So we're going to be working our way towards those pretty quickly, and I'm glad to have him on. Wandering Jedi saying, what's creepy is what might be chasing her out of the middle of nowhere. Yeah, so, as kids...
Who knows?
Yeah. Could be the imagination chasing her. Sometimes we get so scared of those, crickets and breaking branches and stuff like that we scare ourselves half to death, So.
Yeah, if you know what goes on in your area, your imagination goes wild.
Yeah.
What it could be.
Jason Kane saying hello to DC Volts. Good to you guys. Bri Ben says no clowns, no clowns. All right, let's move on to the next one. I can't promise anything, Bri Ben. Last girl photograph. Here it comes. Boop. I know this is, I'm going to have to kind of go back and forth. Do you remember, let me tell you what, I'm going to go back. Do you remember this picture? Right? We're looking at, it's going to come up here. The girl standing up, right? I wasn't able to find a picture, right? So here's the tree, here's the bushes, here's that, right? I wasn't able to find the picture that I was looking for, but there is another copy that is of this quality, this same perspective. And what we're looking at here is the close-up of that. It's the same girl or the same whatever it is, and now it has kneeled over. So again, y'all were talking about how it looked kind of like a tree stump. That doesn't look like a tree stump that bends over. And I see shoulders. I see head. I see it looks like the dress is parted somewhat down the bottom. And I don't know what they're doing. But they're doing something. Almost looks like they're eating something maybe. I don't know. Hey, Night Owl, how you doing today? What do you think, Kevin?
Eating something, or what I see is they're kneeling down. They're facing the ground, so you can see the top of their head. And their arms look like they're folded in underneath their stomach or something.
Yeah.
Almost like so it's hard to tell what they could be doing.
Yeah, this one bothers me. There's something about this that is just real. That first picture, and I would go back and forth, but there's such a lag between the two. It looks like somebody hunched over, like you said, with their arms tucked in. Are they praying? Are they doing something? I mean, what are they doing? And what are they doing out that late at night, messing around? So, it does not look like an animal.
Oh, no. Definitely not.
It's definitely humanoid, so.
Sometimes I like to put my own little, theories or whatever behind the photo. You got the first one where they're just standing up in the background, like they just stopped. And then this one where to them it's dark, so they ended up dropping to their knees and holding themselves.
Yeah.
Terrified because they don't know where they are or what's going on or something like that.
Yeah,
so who knows?
That's actually a really interesting theory. They're so scared they just literally froze and dropped to the ground and they're, praying or whatever. They're just balled up. Which is not an unusual position to take when you're just super nervous, is to just kind of curl up. And that could be what we're seeing here. It's a spooky photograph. For some reason, I find this one to be one of the more eerie ones we're going to show tonight, just because of that contrast. Whatever it was, walks up the path, is there 1 second standing, and then the next time it catches a snap, it's bent over, and it's, again, looks distressed or injured, perhaps. Kelsey is saying he thinks that's a pretty weird one. Night Owl also streaming. Well, I'll have to check that out, Night Owl. I can't wait, actually, man. And if you want to have whatever you're streaming added to the rotation at the Midnight Cafe channel, the radio station itself, I'd be happy to do that. Jason Kane saying, Eric, I have only one thing to make of that. Have you seen the Dark Crystal? Huh. No, I don't think I think I have seen it, but it's been so many years. I'm trying to put that together. But Joel Cole says, reminds me of an old war crime pictures I have seen. People getting executed and stuff, huh? Yeah. DC says, gotta beer a cheap cigar and get ready for scarement. Yeah, right on. X-Ray saying maybe she's praying. Yeah, I wouldn't, like Kevin and I were just talking about it. It's definitely possible, man. Mm-hmm. H&X Media, good to see you in here. Cannibal Ghosts of the Hills. Got a title for my next B movie. Yeah, better be careful now. Asylum Movies will steal that title in a heartbeat. You know them. They're so
Oh
busy
yeah.
making monster movies, though. They're not much for ghost stuff. So, Wandering Jedi say it looks like they're praying and or crying. It is a really creepy photo. Yeah, definitely. Jolt saying it certainly is
Mm-hmm.
unnerving. Yeah, I think everyone that sees this one kind of just goes, oh man, you want to reach out and hug him or something, or run away from him, depending on your mood. But, yeah. Brybent says, looks like a person probably walked into that branch and reacted by ducking. And that could be. You think they would have their hands out, though, or up, like, oh man, I don't want to walk into something. Not tucked in like
Yeah.
that, you know? That's almost like a football player's stance or something. Interesting. X-rays, he's saying a child being in the woods alone at night with no light is disturbing in itself. Yeah, I think back to, 8 or 9 years old, and, you're going to go out after dark, you better have a flashlight. If you didn't have a flashlight, the boogeyman was real, so. Crazy. Oh, excuse me. Let me see. I'm going to take a sip of water here. What time we got here? 7:30. All right, we're an hour in. We got time here.
Oh yeah.
All right, going to get rid of that one. And our first picture of a ghost, I think, is the best. A lot of people saying they think this picture that's coming into view here shortly for y'all is, they think that is a butterfly or a bug somehow reflecting off of the night shot camera. Kevin, when you get this picture up, I would love to get your take on this because I think this is probably one of the best photographs of a ghost I've ever seen.
This one's. I'd start out by saying that it is definitely not a bug, because normally when insects get caught in a trail cam like that, you'll see they don't light up as much from the night vision shot. Because I've caught plenty of bugs in my trail cam, and not one of them looked like a ghost. You can almost tell which one it is, because half the time they're looking at the camera, so I end up getting their glowing eyes only, so that's creepy enough in itself. This one, yeah, it looks like it's emitting its own light.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, because you can see you got the night vision flash lighting up some of the trees, but if you look down to the left of the shape, something brighter is casting even more light onto the trees in front of it.
Yeah, that's like if you're gonna say, oh, it's a bug. Well, yeah, a bug might be super bright, if it's taken directly in front of the camera. But like you said, there's lighting that's almost brighter on the opposite side of that entity or whatever that is. It's incredible. And some of the comments nail it right on the head. As far as somebody said, is that a sword? And it to me, it does. It looks like the person has a sword in their hand. Do you see that on the left side there? He looks like he's got it. It looks like it might be a cape or just energy pouring off of him. But that is an incredible...
It's a ghost of Zorro.
Yeah, could be. It could be a Civil War character. I don't know. But I mean, one of the top 10 most convincing ghost photographs I've seen in years right here. And snapped a long time ago, 2011. Nothing that I would see here indicates that it was faked. It could be some kind of odd camera glitch, but man, that is a really, really, really cool looking photograph. The lighting, yeah.
Plus, if it were a bug, to be that size, the bug would probably have to be almost on the camera lens itself. But given that it's doesn't look like it's blurry and it's not distorting the rest of the image, that definitely cannot be a bug. Otherwise, it'd be a really, really big bug.
Yeah, if it were that close to the camera, wouldn't it thrown the focus of the background out? And it doesn't seem to have done that. So now let me read.
Plus, if it were on the camera and that night vision flash went off, you would only see white from the bug being lit up right on the camera.
Yeah, it kind of just exposed. The exposure would be way off. But yeah, I agree, man. Look at some of these comments here. Granddaddy Dirtbox. That's I'm surprised. He says that one he thinks is fake. Which, boy, if that's a fake, that is a pretty well done fake.
Yeah.
Barney's saying, is that a sword? Yep, I agree. I think it is. It looks like a sword to me. It looks like he's swinging around with it. Brian says it's Harry Potter's animal spirit. That's interesting.
Who knows?
Yeah. Jason Kane says a fairy ghost maybe. Those wings though, especially in the night vision. Weird. Yeah. Jason Kane saying you don't get that kind of detail in insect wings with night vision. So again, like it wouldn't have picked up those tracers, those trails off the back. You know. DC Volt saying the underside of the leaves are back glowing off the light. Yeah, I mean, you literally, it's almost like it's coming from below, doesn't it? Like something's coming up out of the ground to light up like that. And the camera being in front, that's not how it should be showing the light. So very cool. Jordan B saying Firefly, and I mean maybe, but it just doesn't strike me as a bug. It just does not appear to be a bug to me. And Brightman's saying if the photo is real, then it is an amazing one for sure. Yeah.
You look at the very top of the shape, and you can almost see a defined head.
Yeah, like you almost see hair on it. I mean, it's crazy. Great photograph. One of the best I've seen ever, really. Wes Raz, good to have you in here, brother. It looks like looks like a one-man felling saw. Okay, yeah, possible. Mary LaFou was in the woods at night. I-386, good to see you, brother. Brightman saying mosquito. Yeah, I suppose, like, maybe. I mean, I'm going to go with, I feel like this is genuine. I don't know. I just feel like this is caught some kind of paranormal activity in the woods. It does appear to be on a trail. So, who's to say? But I really liked that one. I'm glad you all got a chance to see that. That one impressed me. Tracy Hinton saying, good to see you in here tonight, brother. One of the missing bodies from the Philadelphia experiment. Yeah, something phasing in and out of our reality. Philadelphia experiments. That's a great one. I'd love to do a show just on that, but I don't know if I could fill an hour and a half on that. But Brightman saying it can't be a bug. It's lighting the trees. Yeah, so I just don't see the bug theory. I just don't see how it could trick the lighting, coming through the underside of those lights, or underside of the leaves like that. Pretty cool, man. Right on. So yeah, Jason, unfortunately I can't Google that right now, but I'll definitely check it out later on. All right, let me move on to the next one here. Get rid of that. And here comes another one, and this one is super blurry, but what the heck are we looking at? Like I don't know, man. I don't know. Jeez, it's just some weird stuff we're catching out in the woods. What do you think, Kevin? What are we looking at?
This one I actually don't have an explanation for, and that's that's an interesting one.
Yeah. So, looking at it, to me, I grabbed it, and whatever it is, it's moving at a pretty good pace because you have a nice, clear, stationary, background. It's lit like you'd expect with the camera at the angle that it's at. But it caught something moving across at rather high speed. And if you look, there's a leg on one side of that fallen tree, and there's another leg on the other side of the fallen tree. And I mean, it has a torso. I mean, it does appear to be some kind of an entity to me, anyway. If it's a ghost, it's a pure ghost. Somebody, some of the comments I'm seeing here, it looks like a humanoid caught moving through dimensions. So it could be, yeah. Somebody asking, does it have a walking stick? It certainly could. It is a very, very unusual photograph, and again, like, it's not a fake. I mean, if we were going to make a fake, you'd make it far better than that. You'd make something that was definable. But this one really blew me away. This one surprised me when I saw it. I hadn't seen this one before. It's from 2014. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's see here. Some of the comments here. I-386 says his church has a camera that picks up weird stuff. My pastor could see it from his phone. I-386, I would love it if you could send me some of those pictures. If your pastor, saved any of that stuff. Yeah. Jason Kane saying the foreground leg is blurred behind a crisp leaf in the forefront. Yeah, I mean, this thing, it's not a smudge on the camera. It's something pretty interesting.
Be a heck of a smudge.
Yeah. Joel's saying it's a dimensional shift, and let's talk about that briefly. So out on the West Coast, I was reading a story about this not too long ago. Actually, I think that Rusty West may have covered a story similar to this, but it's something that I had heard as well, where people were out in the woods on the West Coast, Northwest Territory there, and where lots of big trees still. And these guys were cleaning underbrush out to prepare. We don't want forest fires, so you go through and you take out all the fallen logs and branches and stuff, and you actually have controlled burns to get rid of that stuff, so you don't have big forest fires. They're out there. The guy's radioing back and forth with his buddy, and his buddy keeps saying he's seeing people, and they keep getting closer, and he starts getting spooked, and he actually takes a run for it and goes and meets up with the other guy, and then he's saying, what'd you see? And well, it was like people, but the closer they got, the less they looked like people, and they were kind of fading in and out of view. Like they would be standing there 20 feet from me, and then they would kind of just dissolve right in front of my eyes. And we're talking about interdimensional beings, or we're talking about possibly like Bigfoot type creatures, or a lot of these creatures. Some of the explanations for this might be that these people are able to shift in and out of view using something that we just, as humans, don't have the ability to master. So we may literally be seeing a creature that was morphing from one state of existence to another. It's certainly has a possibility. What do you think of that, Kevin? You ever heard of that theory?
I have. It was something I watched just recently. It was a documentary on that Skinwalker Ranch, and they talk about possible dimensional beings there too. So it's an interesting concept, and with this big expanse, never-ending universe, who knows what's possible out there or what's going on right in front of us? We just don't know.
That's a good way of putting it. There's so much in the universe, and our understanding of it expands daily, but so does the unexplainable. And what we may be seeing here is just a fraction of the weird things that are going on in our world. So, pretty cool, man. Let's see here. Jason Kane says that, but there is some shadow to it. Yeah, and I agree with that. It looked that way to me as well. Amy, always. Amy, I don't think I've seen you in here. Welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy the Midnight Cafe, and hope you stick around. Looks like a stormtrooper racing for a toilet. Interesting theory.
Oh, that bathroom will need cleaning because the stormtrooper's going to miss.
Yeah. Pretty good. I like that. H&X Media saying, that's weird. Behind the plants and ground and in front of the tree. Three-dimensional movement for sure. Curious. Yeah. It's definitely, whatever it was, it moved in a way that a person would move, something that was a solid. So maybe it just thought it was a solid, or maybe it was, again, transitioning into a different form. But very cool picture. Very cool. I386 saying, I think it's car lights glaring off the window. That's an interesting theory. I don't think they're in this is a trail camera. I don't think it'd be something snapped through a window, but it's possible. Dallas saying that one looks like a mix of a camera glitch and something very strange. I think... it's a camera glitch for sure, in the sense that whatever is moving at such a high speed that it snaps. That it's not catching that object in a still frame moment. And trail cameras sometimes do that. Mine do. I have two of them. They're very inexpensive. That do night shot, and I've switched those two that act up this way into video mode, where they take 10-second clips, and that usually solves the problem. But when I was doing just still photos, sometimes I would get something that looked like that. But most of the time, they're identifiable as a deer, a dog, a raccoon, whatever. Something hauling, across the yard. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wandering Jedi, good to see you. And this sounds like demonic activity. Possible. You could be seeing a spirit or an entity coming across. Very, very interesting. Jason Kane, Eric, Kevin, I'm trying to type less, but you guys keep touching on alternative parallel universes, which is the scariest bit of all. Been watching and laughed until we kill ourselves. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I meant at the church, right? So, all right, well, let me go ahead and pop that one down. We'll pull up the next one. This one's cool. This one's cool. This actually reminded me of one of the photos you sent me, Kevin. Let me know what you think of this when you see it.
Okay, then. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. It's obviously at the peripherals. It's past the ability for the flash to get. And the cheapest of all those trail cameras I have, they all say they work up to like 60 feet or whatever. But honestly, the light throw on that cheapo one I have is probably similar to this one. It just doesn't do a great job unless something is 10 feet or less. This, whatever this is farther out, but it appears to be floating, and it appears to have glow-in-the-dark eyeballs. So it's an older photo. It's from 2017, but it's after midnight, and I'm curious to see what everyone thinks of that. You think that we're looking at is like a trick of just photography that just got screwed up, or you think we're looking at something that actually is going on here?
Bigfoot saying, "Come at me, bro."
Yeah. Got his arms out. Well, think about it. Animals sometimes puff up when they're frightened. So if they heard the click and saw the red light from the night shot, it may have startled whatever we're seeing here. So Jolt says it looks like a scarecrow in the background and something set the camera off. Possible. Something ran by, set the trigger in motion, but was long gone by the time the scarecrow went off, or before the photo went off. But the glowing eyes kind of, that adds a little bit of spookiness to it. Brightman's saying it looks like there's two of them, and there is. Like if you look, it looks like maybe there's one on the ground and one kind of floating a little bit. So, yeah, interesting there.
Also, something I noticed was starting from just to the side of the left-hand corner, there's something blurry kind of right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a little. It's weird. It's slightly out of focus. It's something messing with the video or the camera quality of it.
Yep.
H&X Media saying that one looks like the creature on the side of the old Space Invaders game. You're 100% right. That is actually something I thought about. It does look like the monster from Space Invaders, like the side cabinet on the arcade. Jordan B says this. Jordan, I hadn't thought about that. Jordan's saying his guess is it's an owl with its wings spread out and it's about to land. That could be very, very possible. It would explain. It would explain the eyes glowing. It would explain the motion setting off the camera. You may have seen a small creature scurry across to trip the camera, and you see an owl getting ready to have dinner. That is definitely a great observation there, Jordan B. You might have hit it on the head there. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Granddaddy Dirtbox saying he saw something like this once in a cemetery at night. It was like a big bat, vampire bat coming to land. Oh, man. I hope you immediately ran away. Jack Taylor saying owl and fled as well. So, yeah, that definitely, I could say that I would go with that one. Jolt saying if it was taken in West Virginia, it may actually be the Mothman. And so, yeah, there's some, regionally, there's a lot of regional monsters. Do you happen to know, Kevin, in your area, what's the Michigan monster? Like every state seems to have their own critter.
A couple years ago, there have been possible sightings of Bigfoot in the north, and then around this area, I think we have our own version of the Dogman.
Oh, cool. Right on. Yeah, well, I like the werewolves. Very interesting. I386 saying he can't watch much more of this. He'll have nightmares. It's been interesting, though. Well, thank you, I386. I appreciate you stopping by tonight. And, maybe take it in small doses. You can come back and watch the second half on Halloween night. How's that sound? X-Ray Z saying it's almost like there's 3 separate sets of eyes. And Jason Kane saying Sasquatch is going to become a sponsor of the Midnight Cafe. Sounds good. Sam Squatch. Yep, the Mothman, West Virginia. Okay, all right, well, there's that one. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to show one more, and then I'm going to take a radio break, and we'll get back to it. And that is this one here. This one spooked the heck out of me, too, because it's like, what on earth are we looking at? So here it comes. Kevin, what do you think that is there?
What in the heck is that? Okay then, it looks like something deformed.
Yeah, like really deformed.
Either something deformed or some weird shot of an animal up on its hind legs trying to get at something. But it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is. It just, I don't know if you can make out the very top of his head that it looks like it's got eyeballs, a nose, and a very ugly looking mouth.
Yeah.
It is
really tiny arms.
Yeah, little teeny weeny arms sticking up, a long body, and little squat legs, and it's like, what the heck is this thing? It just seems terrible. The deer also does not appear to notice it. Like, it doesn't, that deer is standing still. It may be looking back at it with that other eye there, but it doesn't seem to, you'd think it would have bolted if any creature was that close to it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's a weird one. Joel Cole saying that's a fake. It might be. I don't know. If it's a fake, it's an awfully interesting design for a fake. Usually they just go with, the random Bigfoot characters. Granddaddy Dirtbox says, looks like Christmas dinner. I actually had venison for dinner tonight, my friend. Jordan B. saying, this one is truly spooky. It is, because, we think about critters and monsters in the dark, and we kind of categorize them in our own brains. But look, this one doesn't really fit, does it? Doesn't really fit. It's just, that's a weird looking critter, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Might be an alien. Maybe it's an alien checking out wildlife. Who knows? No.
Just possible different version of the Goat Man.
Yeah.
With that lower half.
Yeah. Could be hooved bottoms. Yeah. Definitely. Very interesting. HNX Media is saying it looks like a taller version of the Dover Demon. Okay. So I'll have to Google that one. I hadn't heard of that one, but that sounds cool. I386 saying he sees a Native American Indian. Jolt saying I'm sitting here laughing because it's so fake looking. Yeah, but I don't know, man. Is it? It's Bigfoot in the middle of the vanish. Yeah, possible. There's a lot of interesting comments on this one. Looks like the lungs on a chest X-ray. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah. Looks like a cheap cardboard figure. Interesting. Goat Man, one of them says. Calcius says one of those Native American creatures they talked about. I don't think it's a skinwalker, but I can't remember what this one was called. Yeah, I think this is like a mythical beast if it's a real picture. It's something that you don't want to come across, and that deer probably did not live long enough to avoid contact. So, this guy's saying, Wandering Jedi saying, could be a deer up on its hind legs, getting ready to, trying to reach up at upper leaves. I don't know. It's not a very clear picture, and I wish I had, a better copy of it. That was the best I could come. So, I don't know what that is. Michael Root saying that's not real. All right, so, it's funny. We've looked at some pictures that I've definitely been like, it's a fake. But this one here just doesn't strike me as fake. It might be just, our eyes just can't make out what it is, but I don't think somebody specifically set out to make a fake photograph here. I think this is just a weird random capture. Could be a lot of the options you guys had, a deer on its hind legs or something running in the opposite direction. It's a lot of options, but it certainly is a goofy one.
Yeah.
Well, all right, my man. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I need a small break here, so I'm going to pull up a song and take a short break, and we'll come back and finish out the night. We got Kevin with us tonight, and Kevin's going to be showing off his own pictures towards the end of the show, so I can't wait for y'all to see that. Just sit tight. I don't know, maybe a minute and a half or so, and we'll get back to it. Hang tight. You're listening to the Midnight Cafe, Season 3, Episode 6, I believe it is. And we are doing our special on trail cam photographs, trail cam terror. And I'd like to remind everyone that Midnight Cafe is free to air. You are welcome to download this and redistribute it as you see fit. Put it on your own stations. If you want to put it on a radio station and you want me to add you to the list, just shoot me an email. Let me know what your station letters are and call sign and frequency. I'll be happy to give you a shout out here in the next episode. And that's it. I've got with me tonight Kevin C. Kevin, say hello to everybody.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Right on, man. Kevin's joining me. He's got some own trail cam photos that he's forwarded on to me. And I can't wait to get into them. Go ahead and turn my camera back on here. Can't believe how well things are working. I probably just completely cursed myself, but everything is actually doing what it's supposed to do tonight, and that's always a good thing. All right, let's see here. Where am I at? Oh my gosh, I've lost my place. There we go. All right, this one is crazy. Well, let me read the comments here while I was gone. Let's see here. Not real. It's also a buck, so he's not presenting. Oh, I got you there. It's all fake photos of aliens and Bigfoot and other stuff in the category. Yeah, Michael, you think it's all fake, huh? Interesting. Could be.
There are those people who are...
Yeah. I'm surprised, Michael. I mean, certainly maybe 40% of them are purposely faked, and another 40% of them are misconstrued. Stuff that we think we see something, but it just turns out if we really knew they had full story, it was a bug or it was a whatever, a deer or something. But that still leaves 20% out there, and I'm willing to believe those 20% are real, because there's certainly a lot more to this world than all we're aware of, isn't it? And Jason Kane saying all the cornfields attract all the weird paranormal stuff. I do agree with that. Cornfields are a creepy place at night, no doubt.
Yes, they are.
Granddaddy saying America is certainly big and weird enough for a lot of these things to be real. It's a great show, and you're thoroughly enjoying it. Well, right on, man. I appreciate that. Let people know about the Midnight Cafe. 21 years doing this show. I was a child, just a wee. No, I wasn't a wee child, but I was in my early 20s when I got this party started. Been doing this for years and years and years. I'm glad to bring it to YouTube. I'm glad you're all part of the program now. So thank you all for being here. Thank you. And thank you, Kevin, for taking time out of your night to hang out with us.
Not a problem.
All right, here it comes. Let's see here. No, wait, that's the Boogeyman one. Okay, here we go. This is the one that's going to spook you.
Try me.
Here it comes. 1 o'clock in the morning. What the heck? You seeing this, Kevin?
I am seeing this.
Is this?
I think somebody was having fun.
Yeah. Like, dude. Yes, but look at the time. It's 1 in the morning. It's 25 degrees outside, and somebody was like, "Hey, you know what we ought to do tonight? Let's go up to old man Peabody's property there. We'll dress up. We'll get a sickle and a dark robe, and we'll go up there and put on some skeleton hands, and we'll get some really funny pictures to scare the you-know-what out of them." Like, it just kills me that, yeah, I'm going to put this in the 40% of they made it fake. But why? Like, that's a lot of dedication. That's a lot of dedication.
Well, considering how cold it was, they've probably been drinking.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
Because that sigh looks way too modern to be the Grim Reaper's sigh.
Yeah. I love it, though. I did get a kick out of this.
It's hilarious. Reminds me of the costume I did when back in my teens for Halloween one time.
So let's see here. We got some folks crawling in. Michael Root saying try to be agreeable and not. No, don't worry about that. He's a fan of the channel. He has a final. Yeah, everyone's got an opinion, man. Mike, don't worry about that at all, Mr. Root, man. I enjoy it, man. Kelsey is saying there are similar stories about people seeing something like a white glowing pic shown earlier near Skywalk Bridge at night. Most suicides beside Golden Gate Bridge take place there in the U.S. Really? I'll have to do some research on that. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, I mean, could be, the spirits left behind, stuff like that. Jolt saying the Grim Reaper, that's my uncle. Gotcha. So apparently, Jason Kane wants to shoot you a private message somehow. So I don't know how that will work out. But Jordan B saying he thinks alcohol might be involved in this one. Yeah, I think so too. This is obviously a prank, but man, somebody went through some trouble to make that prank happen. They had to put together the outfit, go wandering out in the woods. It looks like looking from there's fencing wire out there, so it's not too far out in the woods. It's on somebody's property, but still pretty interesting stuff. Michael Root saying, sorry for saying it's a fake, just my opinion, and I got it. Yeah, don't worry about it, brother. Don't worry about it.
Everybody's got their opinion. It's all good.
Yeah, man. There you go. Barney saying there's paranormal wrinkles in the robe. There you go. So see, there's some reality to it anyway. X-Ray Z saying coming home drunk after cutting the grass the hard way.
The Amish way.
Very good, very good. Wandering Jedi, hey, that's the exact type of things we did when I was a teenager. Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. And DC Volt saying it's the Grinning Reaper, not the Grim Reaper.
Who knows?
Yeah, this might be a picture of you. All right, this one coming up next. Excuse me. This one, I do know a little bit of the backstory on here, and I think you'll find this one interesting. Kelsey is saying Skyway Bridge here, they took down the public access to traffic cameras because of the suicides. Man, I hear stories of people seeing a glowing white person near the road leading up to it. Man, that's just tragic, dude. Suicide is the worst way. It's not the way. That's for sure. Kevin, what do you think about this one? Have you ever seen this one?
I have not seen this one.
Oh, really? Okay, this is a cool one, guys and gals. This one's pretty neat. So I actually watched the interview they had with this guy. So this is a trail cam photo, like cold night, and here's the interesting part. And they interviewed the husband and the wife in the background of the picture, and they actually showed a day shot of it. I couldn't find the time to find that picture, but what we were seeing here right along the midline there is the ground level. It's a fairly flat place. We have a deer who has his ears up and it is looking away from the camera when the camera took the shot. And you can see two lights above ground lighting down onto that deer. And if you saw the property during the daytime, that would have put that 30 or 40 feet in the air at the distance that it appeared to be. And so no one could really explain this one. The idea here, or the theory here, is that what we're looking at is an alien craft, something that's flying through the air. The deer has obviously noticed it. It's obviously noticed the deer. And we don't know if it's, going to experiment on it or what. I don't know what's going on there. But I thought it was a very interesting photograph. Kind of looks like, car headlights at first glance. But there's like, if you saw the daytime photo, that's good. Like I said, 30, 40 feet off the ground. Kevin, seeing that, what do you think that is? What do you think we're looking at? Is this some kind of photo trickery, or is this something off-world?
That at first glance, it almost looks like kind of like a reflection caused by the flash, but I don't know what it would be reflecting, because it's definitely not the deer, because the eyes are looking straight ahead instead of to the side. It's hard to say what that could be.
Yeah. If it were a reflection, it's reflecting off of something 40 feet in the air, which makes it even more strange, It's very, very unusual picture, and
yeah, so
it just makes you wonder what's going on here. There's so much going on at night in the woods that we just, we humans, we're pretty smart, so we stay at home. Or we go to places that are well lit and have other people around. But poor deer and bear and squirrels and raccoons and possums and coyotes and wolves and everything else that's out there, they're always wandering, man. And they probably come across weird stuff like this all the time. And they're just like, wow, that was weird. And they go back to eating grass or doing whatever. But I thought this was a pretty cool picture there. Let's see here. The cosmic bullfrog. Interesting. Jordan B says UFO landing. Yeah, I'm thinking if it is a UFO, I think that deer got, absorbed into the collective, probably got turned into a science experiment or something like that. Jolt saying looks like a deer on the road on a foggy night and a vehicle coming on it. Maybe just a low-flying plane or helicopter. Possible a helicopter, but again, like why? And of course, if it was a road, why would they have a trail camera on it? So it's strange. But again, during the daytime, you can see it's just a field. It's actually not that far from where their house is. There was just a field, and it stretches on for quite a way. And then there was a couple of trees off to the left, a couple off to the right, and just more field. So it definitely was a flat area, but pretty cool. Michael Root said it could be a drone. That's definitely a possibility, but I mean, it's possible. I suppose it is. But again, why? Something really late at night like that, just messing around seems unlikely, I would say. Let's just say unlikely. Not impossible. Certainly people do weird stuff all the time, but DC Bolt says, who or what was holding the camera? What is the cam? This is a trail camera picture. It's stationary on a tree or a bush or a pole or something like that. Yeah, could be a drone or a UFO, or our government has tons. So it could be.
Yeah, they have tons of drones and UFOs.
Yeah. I think HNX Media hit it right on the head. Deers don't have to worry because they're not cows. Yeah, they only experiment on cows apparently, right?
Exactly.
All right, here's a weird one coming up here. Think this one's a fake. I've seen a lot of different photos of this around the internet, some up close and some not. Somebody said it had something to do with a video game, like a Russian video game. Kevin, have you ever seen this picture?
Nope.
Really? Okay. How about you guys? Have you ever seen it? There's a lot that's like, it seems to me like it's a close-up of that, and it's a pretty clear photo of some humanoid, ugly-looking thing. I put it here because I don't know. I've never seen this picture with other people in it, and these are just people, I guess, maybe setting up their trail cam late at night. Looks like they got gloves and doing whatever, but I don't know. That one's a weird one. I put that on there. I feel fairly confident this is a fake, and I seems like I couldn't find any info on it this time, but it seems like I remember seeing this photo several years ago, and that I saw an article saying it was actually like some kind of a tie-in to a video game. So y'all feel free to comment on that one. Why would Barney's got a good point? Why would somebody pose for a selfie on on trail cam? Yeah, I can't think of a valid reason why somebody would do that. And so I just, I don't know. This one just strikes me as fake. You kind of agree with that, Kevin, or what's your take on this?
Yeah, it does seem fake, because the only reason why I would stand there and get a selfie with the trail cam was just to test it out. Those two look like they're out there, just hanging out for the night, and it's like, hey, let's do a little selfie or something like that.
Yeah. Weird stuff. HNX Media is saying that's an oldie, very early internet photograph, but the first time you've seen it with people in the shot. Yeah, I've always seen the photo like that much of it, which again leads me even more to believe that it must be a fake, because that's a fairly low resolution photo, and I seem to recall the close-ups of that being fairly high resolution, and so yeah, it makes me wonder. But I threw it in there because, it's an interesting picture. It's certainly, if it is real, it's it's a pretty creepy looking critter. Jason Kane saying on the rake thing, the phenomenon they say is brought into existence from human psyche. There are dozens plus videos on this thing. It's basically demonic. Huh. Okay. All right, let's move on here. This one, y'all were talking about skinwalkers. How about this thing? This is supposedly a picture of a skinwalker, although I've never seen any other pictures of a skinwalker, so I don't know. You'll have to fill me in on this. Kevin, are you familiar with this?
I've seen this picture, but I never actually got a story behind it or theories or anything like that.
Yeah, I just don't know what to make of it, because I really am not an expert at all on this one. But I threw it in here just to show everyone. It's a very low res. I believe this is a clip from a video based on the pixelization you're seeing in this picture here. If it's real, I'm never going to go outside again, ever. I'm gonna be like Night of the Living Dead and start hammering boards across my windows, because whatever that is definitely does not look like something I'd want to come across in the woods. So that's my opinion on that one. I'll go ahead and y'all feel free to comment on these. I'm going to roll through one or two of these quickly. We're getting to the point where I want to show show Kevin's pictures here, but let's see here. This one is another United States photograph. Here it comes. This one is creepy. I don't know how you would fake it unless you were a photo editor software. Yeah, you're talking about that Skinwalker one. Yeah, you'd have to have high skill level. You definitely have to know, how to create animations and stuff like that if you were going to pull that one off. So, could be real. I don't know. It certainly is a good, just eerie. Now, this picture we're seeing here, this looks 100% to me like an orangutan or an ape of some kind, or a monkey of some kind, or I don't know what. What do you think, Kevin? Have you seen this photo floating around out there?
I have. This is one of the more common ones that I've seen pop up when people think of like Bigfoot or something like that, and then it's got a back and forth argument that could just go on for days as to what it could be.
My gut on this tells me this is something that escaped from a zoo or from a house or was kicked out. But this is America. This was in the news. This was a genuine news story because they were attempting to figure out what it was, and they had sent this off to biologists to see if they had any idea what creature this was, and nobody really could confirm it. But yeah, Kelsey is saying it looks like a wild primate. Yeah, and Wandering Jedi says it looks real. Yeah, I don't think this is a fake in any way, shape, or form. I just don't know what animal we're looking at. It's not something that should be here. Although some people said they thought it might be a bear that was like starving. I don't. Those legs and arms don't look like bear legs or bear arms to me.
Nah.
Yeah. So let's see here. Some of the ones. DC Bolt says gotta go, but remember to give the Midnight Cafe a thumbs up. Keep this alive, man. Eric, give Eric a positive, please, man. It's Art Bell's rendition on his own modern curve. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, DC. Take care, my friend, and it's good having you in here. Wandering Jedi says it looks real. Joel Cole saying it looks like a chimp that escaped a zoo or possibly an escaped pet. I feel like that has to be the most likely, cause of that. I just. But again, like it makes you wonder. We're looking at those are tropical animals, and somehow it survived. And this looks like more southern forest, so perhaps somewhere Georgia or Alabama or Florida or something like that, where maybe it's warm enough. But interesting stuff. Jason Kane says it's Caesar from the Planet of the Apes. There we go. And Jordan B says it's a chimp that escaped a vaccine research center. Let's hope it's not. It's probably spreading. It's that movie. It's spreading the rage virus everywhere, right? Calcius says there are wild animals that escaped from Army Corps of Engineers in the western U.S. So it's possible there are primates that escaped and survived in the wild. Yeah. So if I was going to take a stab, my most likely guess on that photo is definitely that it's an animal that is a known animal, but it's a known animal in an unknown place. So it's just not supposed to be there, and that throws us off. But too bad this wasn't a 10-second video clip, because this one easily could have been identified if we saw it move, I'm sure. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to roll on here. This one here, also extremely frightening to me, because we had one, they called it the Devil's Den, and they talked about a half goat, half man that was in the Devil's Den. And so we'd camp out there all the time when we were kids, and always sort of kept myself a little worried about that. Have you ever seen this picture, Kevin?
Oh yeah, this is one of the most popular goat man photos that's out there.
What do you think, man? Do you think that's real?
Most part of me says that that's definitely got to be fake, because it doesn't look like your standard trail cam photograph, even from the older ones, because it looks too much like a black and white television with the brightness turned down.
Yeah.
That's all I'm seeing.
So, everyone's chiming in here, and Jordan B saying that one's fake for sure. Granddaddy Dirtbox saying this one's super fake. Jack Taylor says it's a haunted hayride attraction. Huh, interesting. So, Jack, do you know the backstory on that? H&X Meeting saying fake, but he loves the effort they put into it. Jolt saying, seen the picture before, and from the research done by several professionals, it is a fake. Okay. So, the funny thing for me is that, like, I don't know. I think it's fake, and here's why I question if it is. I think we humans, even the skeptics among us and the people who want to believe, that we that when we see something so perfect, when we see something that is clear, like we've seen so many photographs tonight that's blurry, that's something moving quickly, and we know that, we're like, well, it could be this or it could be that. That when we finally see a beautiful, perfect picture of a UFO, a beautiful, perfect picture of Bigfoot, or a beautiful, perfect picture of whatever the heck this is that we're looking at, that we immediately say it's fake. It's got to be fake because it's so perfectly captured that it can't be real. And that throws my brain off a little bit. So yeah, I look at this and I think, this is too perfect a picture. This is too frightening. It's just too crazy. It's got to be fake. But is it so perfect that it's not fake? I mean, is it so...
Hard to say.
Yeah, did we actually catch the 1 in a million shot that everyone has waited their whole lives to get, and no one believes it because it's too perfect? Because it actually is a decent quality photograph with easily, you can see all the bits and pieces, and that's I'm just randomly, talking at this point, but I do wonder. I think it's too perfect, so I do think it's fake, but I think it's so perfect that if it's not fake, we're going to pass right by photos like this in our lives, and when something finally comes along and slaps us right in the face and goes, look, here's the evidence you're looking for, we'll shrug it off immediately because we're like, nah, no way. And like, I'm not that good at, I don't know. You certainly could do this kind of artistry. Certainly there's makeup people. So it could be fake, but it also could be real. And I think about all the myths. Think about all over the country, all the states and all the stories about the monsters that those states have in them. And I know that, there's the Jersey Devil. There was the Devil's Den. There's the Devil's Triangle. There's the Devil's Circle. And all these places, if we go back to before electricity, have stories of, half goat, half man, or horned devils out in the woods. And here's a picture of a naked horned devil. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone's saying it's a haunt. Well, it's, seen this before. Outdoor haunted house. It's a painting, one guy's saying. Not sure. I would want to know if it wasn't a fake. Yeah, I agree. Dallas says if it's real, that is demonic. Agreed 100%. I mean, if that is something that lurks in the woods, that would explain the missing 411, wouldn't it? Right? Eric saying, or Jason's saying, we're trained. We need an RL encounter. Not War of the Worlds, though. Kelsey's saying he hopes it's fake. Amy's saying if it was real, it would be much hairier, possibly. Patrick's saying it's the Mothman. Yeah, so we've heard of that one too. Yeah. Government genetic experiments gone weird. Definitely. All right, let me get rid of that one. Here's another devil picture. This one also is a trail cam. And this is a winged beast. Dallas, be good. Gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow, I'm 2 hours in. We haven't even gotten to you. All right, this is the last one I'm going to show, and then we're going to go to your pictures because I don't normally run more than 2 hours. We've just been having fun tonight. Take care, Dallas. All right, so this last photo here will go, and then we'll go to your pictures, Kevin. Sorry, hey, Kevin, did you have other stuff planned for this evening?
Just the photos and then the ghost encounter that I had.
Right on.
That's about it.
Okay. Sorry, I have lost track of time. I thought.
That's fine. This is fun.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, check it out. Here's a deer. He's running like crazy. It's a little baby deer, looks like. And here's a feeder. So we definitely know we got a trail cam picture here. You can see the lighting coming off the trail cam, but what in the heck is that? What do you think that is, Kevin?
Okay, let me take a closer look at this. I have no idea. That looks pretty messed up.
Yeah. It's got wings. It's got a tail.
Yeah.
It's got a weird, almost human face, but not quite. It's got massive eyes. And, wow. Like, just wow. That one I've seen floating around the internet a few times, and if it's a fake, I don't think that's a fake. I think that that's a picture of something. I don't know if it's a artifacting or a blur that makes it look like it's something else. But yeah, Jason Kane, you just nailed it, man. Saying all these pictures look like demons depicted from 2,000 years ago. Yeah.
Who knows?
Joel saying, is that a tripod with an overhead mic in the middle of the picture? No, that's a feeder. That's a deer feeder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barney says, I'll tell you what, it's hungry. Yeah, it's definitely after that deer. Definitely after that deer.
Whatever it is, that deer doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yep. All right, Jordan B saying that one's interesting. Just for the sake of time, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and close that one out. Oop, that's the wrong button. There we go. The other ones actually were more funny ones. They were just people doing stupid stuff, so we can skip over those. And we're going to go to Kevin. Kevin, I'm going to pull up this first picture. And this is from the 28th of May, 2015, 7:53 p.m. Let us know. Talk to us. What are we seeing?
All right, so I'm going to set things up for you. This was a year that I worked a summer on Mackinac Island. And just one day I decided I'm going to throw my trail cam up on a place called Rifle Range Trail. Supposedly it's the site of Michigan's first execution by hanging, but it's not confirmed. I basically sent you this one because this is the before photo. Everybody in here is alive. There's a little dog off to the left in the trees there, so everybody here is alive. There's no ghosts. But the reason why I showed you this one is because when I'm done talking about this one, I'll have you pull up the next one in line and I can point out all the things that make it strange. So this one is the before shot. It's 7:53 p.m. in middle of May. The sun's still up, so if you want to go ahead and throw up the next picture for them.
Okay, I hope this is the next one in line. It was from 8:40 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah. Here it comes.
Okay, so it's interesting about this one. It's not even an hour later. It should still be light out. There should still be some sort of signs of light. And there's no IR flash, no night vision flash from the camera. This is the only time my glitched like this. I've sent it to my friend who does the paranormal investigating on the island, and he immediately pointed at that white figure in the center of the screen and says, and he's posted it to his website. I gave him permission to post it to get everyone's opinion, and the most common one is some sort of figure facing to the right, possibly holding their hand up like they're holding a lantern. The trail, you could just faintly see the edge of the beginning of the trail below it, and sort of where it gets white. It's almost like it's floating there.
Yeah, so I was surprised by this picture. You're right. I didn't really think about it when you first sent it to me that the night flash didn't go off, but it's certainly picking up the glow from whatever that is down by where the trail would be.
Yeah, that's when I was going through my photos, because I left it up there for a whole week, and this is the only major thing it caught, because everything else was either people walking by or the wind blowing the leaves around, setting the motion sensor off. So I had like a couple hundred photos, but this is the only one that caught anything, and it's probably my most prominent piece of any sort of possible paranormal photograph, anything I've ever captured is this photo right here. And I still got people asking if they can see it, because I tell them a story and they want to see the photo. And every time I get a new phone, I make sure I transfer it onto that phone too. So I've had this one since the week after this photo was taken.
I'm going to try to, it won't let me move it. I was going to try to enlarge that a little bit. Oh, there it goes. Okay, hold on a second here. There we go. Hopefully y'all can see that. Definitely something there. Kind of and you can see a branch in front of it. If you look real close in that, you can see that whatever it is back. It's not up close. Somebody's asking if I can swap between the two. So sure, let me resize that back down to normal size. Okay. All right, so I'm going to lock that. And here comes the other one. So it would have been right about there, I would say, right, maybe just in front of where that girl in the green jacket is. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep. And what's interesting is the girl in the maroon shirt is one of the people on the investigating team.
Oh, wow.
For that company. And when I showed her that, she legitimately would not go on that trail for the rest of the year after I showed her that photo, because it was almost, basically it was like right in front of where she would have been standing at the time. So it creeped a lot of people out, because they walk that trail all the time to bypass the main road to get to their, wherever they're heading quicker.
Yeah.
And yeah, I that whole group of people I showed the photo to, and not one of them wanted to step foot on that trail after that. And yet they know it's haunted. So it confused me for a second.
Jason Kane saying he's just wanting to verify the sun was still up when that photo was taken, because that's the craziest part, that the camera recorded nearly pitch black and some kind of heat signature of a child low to the trail. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. It's from a basic trail cam that I only paid like $50 for from Walmart, and I still have the trail cam. I bought it specifically for the purpose of ghost hunting, because of the night vision feature on it. You just slide an SD card into it and set it up wherever, and that's what I caught.
They are kind of convenient for that sort of stuff. I moved mine all around my property, and I picked up all kinds of weird stuff. Thankfully, no real people. But
yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, that's a good thing. H&X Media saying weird. It certainly is on the trail. It is blocked by the same leaves that exist in the first photo. Yeah, I mean, it's got depth to it. It's definitely back there and not up close. Very cool. All right, let me close that one out. I'll pull up the third photo. And here we go. Want to give us the story on this one?
All right.
This is a little after midnight, it looks like.
Let's see. Zoom in. Oh yes. So this is kind of like a reference photo. That's what it's supposed to look like when the flash goes off. It's supposed to light up anything in front of it. You can see, it's darkness. The camera in these pictures is in a different spot, but on the same trail.
Okay.
So this is kind of like setting up for the next photo, if you want to bring that up.
Sure. Right, here we go. There we go. I noticed this one right away when I looked at it. I thought, oh, what's that back there?
So did so did my the friend who runs the paranormal thing. See if anybody else sees it.
Y'all catching that? I can make it larger if you'd like. Let me do that.
When I sent it to my friend there, he pulled it up on his phone, so it was on a small screen, but he saw it right away. Why I sent that to him, and he's just like, yeah, you got to keep putting that camera up there. Yep, somebody said I see a crouched person. Looks like something running. Yep.
Again, something on that trail. That's.
Yep. He put that photo through one of his enhancement programs to kind of like clear up the pixelation, and I didn't have to see it enhanced to tell that almost looks like a soldier standing out on the trail.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there was a lot of soldiers up there from British, French, American, and then all up there at one point, and that could be a soldier up on the trail there.
Pretty awesome. So do you still get out that way?
Noticed. I had not been up there since last year, and it was for my sister's wedding. But we went on that trail, but it wasn't at night because it started raining, so we really couldn't stay out long.
Incredible stuff, man. Looks like they're
Yeah, I
chiming
mean,
in. They see it in that left middle area, but yeah, I can see it clearly even
yep.
on the small screen that I'm viewing this on right now. Very cool.
And this is just my regular trail cam with IR, and whenever I set it up, I always do like a test to make sure I do a test photo and make sure it works. I don't just put it up there, turn it on, and go. I want to make sure it actually runs, and it's got the ability to lock it with a padlock, so I lock it so that nobody tampers with it, and thankfully nobody's ever touched it or seen it, and yeah, and that's some of the things I capture on it. So I keep using it. I actually have the trail cam sitting next to me. I actually plan on putting it up in my apartment, see if I get anything overnight.
I've done that. I've done trail cameras. I don't know if you've ever messed with EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon. That's another great thing. If you're gonna leave for like an hour, just push record and walk away. And when you come back, a lot of cool stuff.
Yep. Just like last week, um, I was doing a range test for one of my radios I just bought, and I set one radio next to my computer and pulled up a recording program I have on there and let it go while I went out for a walk to test it. When I came back and I was going over the recording, I picked up something, and I'm still analyzing it, but it sounds like somebody said something in the background. Nobody was home, so I might have caught something, and it would have been the first real recording of any kind in this apartment. So
we're gonna do an EVP episode here after the first of the year, sometime in January or early February. I tried to do it a couple years back. We had all kinds of technical issues that night, so we had to scrap it. But a lot of cool stuff out there for EVP files, and it's something that, without a lot of equipment, I mean, most everybody has a cell phone at this point, and you can just literally hit the record button on it and enter the amazing world of EVPs. So pretty cool. All right, let me go ahead and pull that down.
I've also got a couple of EMF detectors, some audio amplifiers that I use, do my own little ghost hunting now and then.
Right on. Well, that's it for tonight, I guess. That pretty much wraps up. We went into overtime, which is fine. That's a good thing. Like somebody said, time flies when you're having fun, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, Kevin, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'd be interested in having you come back again and maybe share some more stories with us. Would that work for you?
That'd be perfectly fine. I'd have no problem. This is actually pretty fun.
It's great, isn't it? Just getting together with like-minded folks and talking about the strange and unknown.
Hey, you can talk for hours on that subject.
Yeah, that's it. And that's why the Midnight Cafe has been on the air for so long. There's always something on our minds. And, sure, we revisit some of the same threads over and over again, but that's because they're so darn interesting, Things like that trail cam picture that you caught, that glow, and then to catch that person, that thing out there is just awesome. I love it. And that's what keeps us all doing it, keeps us going back and setting those cameras back up and pressing record one more time on the radio and just doing all that stuff. So I want to really thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you spending over 2.5 hours of your time with me tonight, and I'll let you go. But if you have anything last things you want to share with us, feel free. If not, I will see you next time, my friend.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's kind of actually my first podcast that I've ever been a part of, and thank you for having me on here, and I look forward to coming back again. I'll even do it next week if you want, because I have plenty of stories.
Right on. Next week, I might get you to call in. I'm going to have open lines so everyone can call in. Next week is going to be our last show before Halloween, and I'm going to be doing movies. We're going to take a step away from the paranormal, and we're going to be talking about the somewhat normal. We're going to talk about like scary movies, scary sci-fi movies, horror movies, both classic and modern, so that we can get everybody in the mood for Halloween. But yeah, you're welcome to call in. I'll be opening up the line, so I'll let other folks call in, and I hope everyone will kind of spend this week thinking about the best movies, the best scary movies for Halloween, and you'll call in and share it about it. We'll talk about it. I worked at a video store when I was in college, so I got the pleasure of watching tons of great old horror movies, and I can't wait to share that with everybody. So I appreciate it, Kevin. I'll let you go, and I'll just be another minute or two here, and I'm going to let myself go. But you have a great night, my friend.
Yeah, you have a great night too, and have a good night, everybody.
All right, all right, all right. Well, guys and gals, I really appreciate another great end to another great show. That was a lot of fun. There were only maybe 4 or 5 pictures we didn't get to. Hard to imagine we could have gone a full 3 hours on this one, but sometimes when it's just good stuff, it's just fun. I'm glad you all joined me in here. Granddaddy Dirtbox, thank you. H&X Media, Calcius, Wandering Jedi, Amy, good to have you in here. X-Ray Z, tell him, good to see you in here. Barney, Wander, man, everybody. Jason Kane, thank you, man. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Jason Kane saying thank you and so much power to you for keeping Mr. Bell alive in my own style. I'm trying, my friend. We've been at this a long time, but I enjoy it. And as long as you keep coming back, I'll keep making them. I am going to upload this to the other channel on Tuesday. It'll be on Shoutcast in the rotation and on the radio station on the rotation. If you're lucky enough to be in an area that airs this show, well, you might hear it on the air someday. Jordan B., thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thank you from the Midnight Cafe. I'm Eric. Year 21. This has been Season 3 of the YouTube version of the Midnight Cafe, Episode 6, Trail Cam Terror. I'll see you all next time. Take care.